So who the hell you think you are, Robocop? Yes, that is exactly who I am. Hey everybody, welcome back to Infinite Realms. Today we are going to review, I'm going to review, NECA's Robocop. Part man, part machine, all cop. Yeah, I know, it's like reading it right off the movie poster. One of my favorite movies, by the way. Definitely in my top 10. A lot better movie than I think a lot of people give it credit. But let's get started. And of course, the packaging is just beautiful. The metallic sheen. Don't you love that word, sheen? And of course, you open it up and there is Robocop on the inside. It's just nice, very nice. Getting him out of the package, he looks great. The metallic parts just shine beautifully. There's little hints of blue in it, but not so much. I mean, it's really more the gray that really sticks out. Now, that doesn't mean that Robo is without flaws. First up is this blast effect. I get what they were trying to do, and I get that they were trying to do something different, but oh boy, it just doesn't work. It's. I think part of it is because it's white. I mean, that makes it even worse. But the blast effect, it just does nothing for me, and I'm not going to use it. So that's what I have to say about that. Now, I do really like the data spike. That's just ominous looking. It's just so cool. Now, I did mess around with the spring-loaded holster, and I tried to get the gun in it, and it ended up being a disaster. What happened was that this little piece of thigh, now I got a gap in his thigh, so great, yeah. That popped out, and it was just about impossible to get it back in there. So my suggestion is, don't mess with the holster. It's not worth it. It's really odd, and yeah, I don't know. I don't know how that popped out and why it took so much to get it back. And then I'm just not messing with it anymore. Just forget it. But of course, Robo has his old style pistol, which is awesome. And the gun, and I always thought of it as a rail gun. I don't really think we ever got a any kind of idea what it was. But it's just a cool gun that blows shit up. And I like it. If you watched Robocop, you know what that's about. Okay, and it's got a strap so you can put it on his back, of course. And only little flaw with that is the legs that you pull out. They can pop off pretty easily, so be careful of that. I mean, they go right back on, but still, it's kind of annoying. So, yeah, the big questions are, what about scaling? So, here he is beside of Armored Daredevil and Spider-Man. Again, the guys I think are about average height in Marvel. And he is taller, but reasonably so. Now, you put him beside a character like U.S. Agent, and, it's a little less of a height difference. And, of course, I put Firestar there just to compare to a female figure. And then I put him beside a Death's Head and a Rhino just to see him beside some bigger figures and get a good idea on that one. Now, going over to wrestling, of course, wrestling figures, people argue about the scale in the wrestling figures. And I always point out, wrestlers are generally taller. So, in doing this, I just decided to do a 80s get-together of John Nada and Robocop. Boy, that would be a combination, wouldn't it? And then why not just put Hollywood Hulk Hogan beside of him? Because, it's all Hollywood, right? And there he is beside the Ultimate Warrior and the Macho Man Randy Savage, who somehow gained the WWF belt. Yeah, I don't know how that happened. And here he is beside some Joe classified figures. You know, again, I say the wrestlers are taller, the Joes not so much. Especially Storm Shadow. I always felt Storm Shadow was a little bit shorter than most of the figures. And there he is beside a Destro. So that gives you kind of a good idea how he scales with different lines and everything, I think. For the most part, I think he works with most of the lines. You know, again, it's going to depend on your point of view. How tall was Robocop? I always viewed him as pretty tall. So that's going to be your own preference. Now this figure, it's a nice figure. It's a good figure. That holster thing, that's going to be a markdown though. I'll give it 4 stars. Very much worth having in your collection. I do think that. But, you know, again, just don't mess with that holster. It would be really nice if that holster worked right. But after my experience, I would really advise not messing with that holster because it just jacked my figure up. So, yeah, don't do it. Other than that, you know, in that same hip, there's a weird separation. And I think it's caused by the holster. I'm not positive, but that's another thing to consider. It's a little weird, but yeah, I can let it go. All right, so that's going to do it with this review of Robocop. What did you think? Did you like it? Tell me in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe.